All right, I'm going to bring this meeting of the Lawndale City Council to order. I'm going to ask the city clerk to give us the roll call.
Good evening. Mayor Pro Tem Kearney.
Here.
Councilmember Cuevas.
Here.
Councilmember Suarez.
Present.
Councilmember Talavera.
Here.
Mayor Poland Miles.
Here.
All members are present.
Okay, I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Kearney to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Pastor Dwight Dooley.
Gentlemen, please remove your hats. Thank you. Right, your right hand over your heart and repeat along with me. Oh, it's over here now. No clock, the flag. I'm all confused. Okay. Repeat along with me. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. It's always a pleasure to be here, sharing with you from the Word of God. And when I think of this council, I think of the council seeking wisdom and direction. And the guy that I was looking at tonight was a guy named King Solomon. And King Solomon didn't ask for anything for himself personally, and riches and gains and things, but he did ask for wisdom. And that pleased God. And it says, therefore, give to your servant an understanding heart to judge the people, that I may be able to discern good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? And so that pleased the Lord. And for this council, I know that it's difficult to come together and make decisions for the whole of Lawndale, but you do it, and you're in agreement, and that's wonderful. And so we'll go before the Lord and just ask Him to continue to pour out and bless. And Father, we're just thankful, and we love you for what you're doing in this community. Father, as the city of Lawndale is trying to reach out and enlarge their circle, Father, and bringing others into the community, Father, we thank you and we ask you to give them great direction and wisdom, understanding on how to put all these issues together for the good of this community. And Father, so we thank you for our mayor and the council members and their decisions to come and better this community. Father, we lift up our law enforcement, Captain Nicole Palomino. Father, in these days are days that are stressful and, Father, difficult at least. And Father, so we know that she's making decisions and she's trying everything in her power to keep the morality, the morals high on this department, Father, that they would enjoy the work that they do and that they would remember the calling that they have on their lives to serve the community, even through difficult times and decisions. Father, we lift up the fire department and all that they do and rescues and helping the citizens of Lawndale to be able to live a good, healthy life. And Father, for the city workers, also they have their hands busy taking care of parks and everything that is necessary to keep this city beautiful. Father, we thank you for them and their desire, Father, to do well. And so, Lord, fill this community, the leaders, the mayors, the law enforcement, the captains of the fire department, Father, with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Give them vision for a clear future. And we thank you and we praise you for the work you're doing in these lives and in this community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
The American flag belongs to the right.
Let's hear from our captain of the Lawndale Sheriff Station. Captain Palomino.
Oh, there's two of them coming this way.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed members of the City Council, and members of the community. I'm Nicole Palomino, the captain of South Los Angeles Station, and I will be presenting the Public Safety Report for September 16th through October 6th. And I just want to start off by saying thank you for these bright lights in here. It's a noticeable change. Thank you.
You notice, huh?
Very much so. Thank you. Okay, so regarding our notable arrests and investigations, on August 8th at approximately 11 p.m., Lawndale deputies investigated a hit-and-run traffic collision at 164th Street and Condon Avenue. They discovered that the suspect fled the scene and parked his vehicle at 165th Street and Inglewood Avenue. The victim followed the suspect and attempted to contact him regarding the collision, at which time the suspect pointed a firearm at the victim. Operation Safe Streets Bureau Detective Sabatine investigated the case and reviewed surveillance video from homes located near the incident, and he was ultimately able to identify the suspect. Then on October 2nd, Detective Sabatine and additional OSS detectives served a search warrant at the suspect's residence. They recovered a BB gun and arrested the suspect for felony assault charges, and he was a resident of Lawndale. And then on September 22nd, at approximately 2:30 a.m., Deputy Galvan conducted a traffic stop at Marine and Hawthorne Boulevard for vehicle code violations. She detained a male adult driver and a female adult passenger and recovered a firearm from the female's purse. She was arrested for felony weapons charges, and she was not a resident of Lawndale. And then regarding our traffic-related incidents, motorcycle traffic enforcement Morales, Deputy Morales issued 53 citations during the reporting period for various vehicle code violations, such as failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to stop at a red traffic light, and speeding. And then lastly, I would like to remind everyone that the City of Lawndale will be hosting their annual Halloween haunt on Friday, October 31st from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Lawndale Civic Center Plaza. There will be a costume parade, games, a trick-or-treat trail, and a family-friendly haunted maze and food vendors. And this concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions that the council might have.
Thank you, Captain, for that report. Are there any questions of the captain?
I have none.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let's hear from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. Let's hear from Battalion Chief Manning Crone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Manny Carrion. I'm the battalion chief on the Alpha platoon for the community. I'm here today to give some statistics on our call load in Lawndale for September of this year. We ran a total of 294 calls within the city, 142 of them being EMS in nature, only 2 of them being fire. Of that 142 calls, 60 calls were ALS, advanced life-saving type calls. 24 of those ALS calls were transported to the hospital, local hospitals. And in that category as well, we have 5 of those calls were also handled by our advanced provider unit. Of the fire calls that we did have in the community, one was a rubbish fire, and then another one was a vehicle fire. And that's all I have for our calls.
Okay.
If you have any questions.
Welcome. Are there any
Thank you.
questions of the Battalion Chief? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are on item D, presentations. We have any presentations, Mr. City Manager? On item D?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, so we're on oral communications. Oral communications is when you have the opportunity to speak to this body on items that are not on the agenda. If you would like to speak to this body on the oral communications, you may do so at this time. Please line up by the flag. When it becomes your turn, just come to the podium. Please start with your name. At about 2.5 minutes, the amber light will come on. If you look at that screen, this screen, and that'll give you time to wrap things up. You don't have to wait for your name to be called. Let's have our first speaker.
Dr. Osborne from Redondo Beach. You know, if I'm here, I'm going to talk about numbers. You've heard me talk about the width of the row, how Metro originally claimed it was 81 feet, and then they changed it to 75. They just chopped parts off the figures. But what you probably didn't know was they didn't change the drawings in the appendix. They still showed 81 feet. And so This is what the row looks like, and actually, I got this from you and other people. This is just an assessor's map. The row is straight. It's 75.77 feet, but who's counting the extra inches? But what they drew in the appendix, all of a sudden, at 171st Street, it just jumped up 6 feet, okay? And so that allowed them to say with a straight face, we're not taking any properties, because they'd made the row wider than it should have been. Okay? So, when the new FEIR came out, I ran, not walked, but ran to the library to see the updated drawings, which weren't there. But I did find them online, okay? And now they have drawn the line straight, so it's 75 feet, but all this area up here, there's this new hashtag stuff, and that's called, they're going to take it for a construction easement. So they're getting all their land back. They're just calling it that they've originally mistakenly taken. Now they're, and this part is they claim it's temporary construction easement, but construction could be 6 months, or 6 years. And also, this part is on an embankment. If you cut the embankment, you think they're going to rebuild it, okay? This upsets me. Oh, I've got 1 minute left, okay? Because it's lack of transparency. And I want to say that one time I asked somebody a question, and they said, well, you're not a civil engineer. You can't understand, okay? I'm a registered professional engineer, but it's not civil, and I've never said that I am. It's electrical, and this is all civil engineering type stuff. But here is one thing I do know about civil engineers. When they sign drawings, they're supposed to be accurate, and they can lose their license if they're not. And if they knowingly sign false documents, and nobody thinks the row had this bend in it, and I checked with the surveyors in my city. They said nobody should have made a mistake like that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dina, Lawndale resident. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to comment on City Manager Moore. I do enjoy your minute more, and you did parkways. Fortunately, you did a real nice parkway instead of what we really have out there. A lot of bad parkways. So I think you should update another one and do a different parkway. And also, we had our street repaved, and there was no communication whatsoever as to when we can get in and out, when they were going to actually do it. They posted some signs. They didn't leave any notes or any scheduling for anybody in the block, which is a cul-de-sac, but no communication whatsoever. And I heard we weren't the only block that happened with no communications. They left a lot of marks on my apron, which had to be addressed. So a shout out to Desiree, because I always call parking for some reason, and she was always transferring to Public Works, but now I have Public Works in my phone. Another shout out to Jack Martin and Nick, Petruski? They addressed my problems right away and got back to me right away. And they did get the guys that did the street paving back over to my house and clean my apron up. But the manhole covers are still covered in asphalt, so I don't know when they are coming back. I don't want to make it a long deal. And also, another issue is with no houses have addresses on them. There's a few of them that I've discovered. Another issue, when I had to call in that parkway with the broken glass, I couldn't give Violet, another shout out to Violet, because she's always very nice too and handles stuff. There was no addresses to give on these places, and there's several homes on different streets with no addresses. You can't see them. And even if they were painted on the curb, you still can't see them because cars block the curb paintings. And also, there's a hydrant on, I think the fire guy left, but on the corner of 149th and Condon. It's been leaking, a small leak, or such a leak on the corner there since summer. Now it's got a bunch of rust stains, and it looks all rusted out at the bottom. I don't know who maintains the hydrants, or does hydrant inspection, but it looks bad. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Caitlin Coulter, Lawndale Community Library Manager. Just wanted to give everyone an update that all locations are going to be closed next Monday, the 13th, for Indigenous Peoples' Day. That doesn't affect Lawndale operations, but if you were going to go to Wiseburn or Manhattan Beach, they'll be closed that day. I was going to remind everybody that Metro still has the Environment Impact Report at our library, but it sounds like I'm going to need to follow up with somebody, make sure we have the most up-to-date documents. So thank you for that. And lastly, we have a social media account now. So if you want to follow Lawndale Library on Instagram and find out the newest happenings and see me be entirely unserious, that we have that going on. It's at Lawndale Library. So thanks.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My name is Andrea, and I've lived in Lawndale all my life, 66 years. We do not have money for things the city is demanding us to do. My sister has been disabled senior, and bedbound for 9 years, and has to pay for her care and supplies out of pocket. The city code enforcement is coming after us for things in the yard that have been there for over 40 years. The home used to be my grandmother's. I had to pay a permit of $390 to remove a storage unit that the city wanted out. The storage had been there over 40 years. The city wants a site plan that costs $1,600 for the permit to remove some lattice enclosure connected to the house, and there are other items they want taken care of. They are telling us we need a professional architect that costs thousands of dollars. The city feels if you own a house, you have money. This is not true. The city doesn't even offer any type of low-income assistance for mandated permits. We also are in fear of losing our home to Metro. Why do we have to fix these things if they're going to take our home? We are trying to comply, but it's very hard if you don't have money and manpower. We are all seniors and disabled here. We're so stressed out. We don't know what's going to happen to us. This is not fair. They are also citing other friends of mine in Lawndale. Homeowners are upset. Please help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please do something to help us, because this is terrible.
Yes, ma'am.
It really is. Thank you.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening. I would like to raise some concerns, not about the upcoming Hispanic Festival in Lawndale itself, but about the city's involvement and representation in connection with the event. At the August 18th, 2025 meeting, after hearing from residents who expressed concerns about holding the Hispanic Festival this year, given the current cultural climate, the mayor and city council voted to postpone the event until next year. After regularly attending city council meetings for the past 10 years, I did not always agree with how the council voted on items, but I always thought one had to abide by their vote. In this case, it was clear the city council voted against sponsoring a Hispanic festival this year. However, at the September 15th, 2025 meeting, Councilmember Talavera stated that he was disappointed with the council's earlier decision and announced that he would move forward regardless, partnering with the South Bay Social Network to present another Hispanic Heritage Festival in Lawndale. While any council member as a private citizen has every right to organize or participate in a community event, the way this particular event is being presented raises ethical and procedural questions. The first flyer promoting the event displays a council member's name and official title alongside the City of Lawndale's logo. This is concerning, especially after prior council discussions emphasized prior and restricted use of the city logo. A subsequent version of the flyer removed the logo but still includes the council member's name and title. Both versions still appear on his Instagram page, and the one with the city logo is also still appearing on another council member's Facebook page. I respectfully request clarification from the city attorney whether it's appropriate or potentially unethical for a council member to use their official title in connection with an unsanctioned event in Lawndale, especially after the council formally voted not to sponsor or host such an event this year. Including an official title could create the impression that the event is city-sponsored or city-endorsed, contradicting the council's decision and potentially misleading the public. Even when no financial benefit is involved, using one's official position to promote an unsanctioned activity can appear to leverage public office for personal or third-party advantage, which undermines public trust and the integrity of this council. For transparency and fairness, it would be most ethical to advertise or organize the event strictly in a personal capacity without reference to an elected title or city symbols. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak to this body under oral communications? Seeing none, let's close oral communications, bring it up to diocese for comment. Let's hear from Councilman Talavera.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. Thank you for coming out and showing support and being here, and thank you for raising your concerns. As always, Dr. Osborne, thank you for keeping us in the know of the things that are happening with the row. We know that it's coming down to some very serious events with the fur that's out now. So we thank you for always keeping us in with the knowledge. Dina, thank you for all your concerns. We appreciate that you come out and you tell us, and those are things that we should look into. And so we'll take a look at it. Caitlin, thank you for all the awesomeness that you're doing at the Lawndale Library. I had a chance to visit the other day, and I just saw it buzzing, and the people were, very amenable. So thank you for all that you do there. Andrea, we hear your concern. So hopefully we can be able to do something about that. And I think that goes back to one of the things that we talked about, having a fund. I think the beautification committee was the one that brought it up, having a fund to help those residents and homeowners for our city that are not able to do some of the things that the code requires. But we'll definitely look into that, and hopefully we can do something. Randall, thanks for your concern. I'll tell you that I did make a mistake. I read the policy. Maybe I read it wrong. I did talk to the city attorney and the city manager about it. I've corrected that mistake. I've taken the logo off the flyers that were done afterwards. But social media, once you put something out there, 50 people will capture it. I can't get all 50 people to change their social media, but any flyer that has gone out now, it has been redesigned and fixed. In my conversation with the city attorney, I guess I was under the impression that we had settled it as a different way where we would be able to use it, but it looks like we didn't. So I don't know if we need to bring that policy back up where we can use it that way, and that would be, I'm just one person, and if my colleagues decide that that's something that we should look at again, maybe we need to revisit it. But if everyone's fine with it, I'm fine with it too. So, and I don't think now it's, I have, in all my conversations, I have said it is not a city-sponsored event. So it's Frank Talavera, Lawndale City Councilman, along with South Bay Social Network, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Suarez.
Thank you to everybody that came out tonight and spoke. I'll touch on a few. Thank you, Holly, for your update. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot from you, actually. I'll go on to, if we could look at the fire hydrant on 149th and Condon, and question who does maintain those. I don't know if we have a response now.
Mayor, Council, I believe that's Golden State Water District, but we'll double check and staff will follow up on some of those issues with the contractor. We appreciate the input from the community. We're definitely paving a lot of streets right now, so we're going to have some calls, but Lucho is going to be in contact and follow up with the residents out there.
Okay, perfect. And then thank you, Caitlin, for the update. I'll be sure to follow the account. And then Miss Andrea, I do want to acknowledge your concerns, and I would like to agendize in the future. This is something that I've been wanting to do, is if we could look into an audit, a process audit, quality control audit, you name it, on how planning and code enforcement process is working, because I get a lot of mixed reviews regarding residents and their experience. And so what I think would be appropriate would be to see how we handle things and whether it's appropriate. I would look into a third party, so we can bring that up for discussion, because I definitely think there are some gaps or something that's not quite working. It's not one instance, it's multiple instances. And then I want to get along to Randall regarding your, the 2 points that you brought up, which some of it sounds, with regards to the logo, that sounds like it's been handled. But with regards to titles, it's not, as far as I know, inappropriate to use your title on things. Us as council members give endorsements all the time for other members. I think one of this members even had an event, and it wasn't a city-sponsored event, but it was actually posted on the city website. So, you know, maybe we do need to look at the policy on which ones are advertised, which ones are not. But you can definitely use your title. Otherwise, none of us can give endorsements and whatnot. But when it comes to the logo, that's something different. If I'm missing something, maybe the city attorney can expand on it, but I do think there's certain discretion in which we can use our title.
I think you've hit it exactly right. And to back up what Councilmember Talavera said, when the issue arose, he contacted me. I looked through the recent action by the council on use of logo, and I did have to conclude that the logo use in that was not appropriate, and he immediately said he would get it changed and asked if he could use his title. And I said, essentially what you've just said, that the title alone is a matter of fact, and everyone knows that the city is not sponsoring this. To put the city logo in would create confusion, but a council member on their own, it would be acceptable. So, yes.
And then one other question. A person on this council has had a private event that's been posted on the website before by city staff. That would not be appropriate, right? If it's not sponsored by the city to be posting.
I need to go back and look
Okay.
to see what it was. I don't know, but I'll talk to the city manager and we'll look at that.
Yeah.
And one of the two of us will get back to the whole council on that.
Okay, and that's just for the sake of making sure that we're holding everybody to the same standards. But with that, I want to thank everybody that came out, and that concludes my remarks.
Madam Cuevas.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and speaking. They already said everything, so I will pass it along.
Mr. Pro Tem. Pat
I just
Kerr.
want to speak, thank everybody that came out tonight. I do have a question maybe for Sean or Lucho. Addresses, are they mandatory for houses to have addresses? Or is it an optional thing?
Mayor, council, so folks have to have addresses on their buildings, not on the curbs, because as
Okay.
the resident pointed out, you can't see them, they're parked. It's a code issue. We can, if someone wants to let us know, we don't want to send code out there, but maybe we can send a courtesy reminder. I talked to Mr. Reyes to make sure they have their addresses prominently displayed.
Yeah. And I want to compliment Councilmember Talavera for taking down the first flyer and put up the new one. The new one looks good, and I'll be there. And with that, I'll pass it on to you, Mayor.
Oh, thank you. I want to thank Dina for the nice remarks you made about the staff. I'm sure they appreciate that. Yeah, so if you can pass that along to the staff, appreciate it. Andrea, I'm concerned about this code enforcement issue as well. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll work on it. Also, Dr. Osborne, thank you for keeping us, where did she go? Oh, there you go. Keeping us in the know, as the council member said, on the metro issues. And yeah. Okay. And that's all I have to add. I want to just thank everyone for coming out tonight and for those who made comments. So let's move our agenda along. Let's go to the consent calendar, item G. What is the pleasure of this body concerning such?
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
The motion's been made by Kearney
I'll second that.
and seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, would the council please vote? Madam City Clerk.
1 second, please.
Cuevas.
And it was Pat
No, it says seconded. Um,
$5 million, you can't even do this right.
Okay, the motion's been made by Mr. Pat Kearney, followed by Shirley Cuevas. Yeah.
For this, for the consent calendar, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Item H, a public hearing. This is a public hearing about the general plan amendment to expand the city of Lawndale's sphere of influence to include portions of El Camino Village and Alondra Park. Let's have the staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Case 2513 is a general plan amendment for the council's consideration. On December 18, 2023, the council approved two resolutions. The first resolution was to update the city's general plan, and the general plan was General Plan 2045. The second resolution was to adopt a EIR, Environmental Impact Report, that analyzed all of the environmental impacts as the city grows for the next, in this case, 22 years until 2045. A general plan amendment is asking to amend a portion of that general plan. Tonight's consideration for the council is amending the land use element. There's required elements within the general plan, so the one that we're amending is the land use element. What we're amending is the city's sphere of influence. The sphere of influence is a geographical area shown that's adjacent to the city that we have a sphere of influence on. So to the east of us is a portion of Los Angeles County for the residential districts. This SOI, sphere of influence, or sphere of influence amendment would include Alondra Park and El Camino Village. So that's the area that we're requesting the general plan amendment. This project is not a project, it is merely a expansion of a mapping district within our sphere of influence. We already have a sphere of influence within the residential components or areas of the county. This item was presented to the Planning Commission on May 14, 2025, and the Planning Commission voted 3-0, recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution to approve the general plan amendment. As I mentioned, that this sphere of influence encompassed approximately 3 parcels, but they're large. The first parcel is Alondra Park, and the other 2 parcels are for El Camino Village. So because this document was already reviewed by an existing EIR, CEQA calls out if you have an existing EIR, you may do an addendum if the project doesn't have any additional impacts already analyzed under the previous EIR. Because the old general plan updates EIR had a sphere of influence, this mapping action is consistent with the general plan EIR and won't introduce any new impacts that wasn't analyzed as part of the original EIR. So that's the long language in the environmental review. The project is consistent with 15164, which is the process that provides us that an addendum to an EIR is, it goes through a different process, and that's why there's a lengthy language. With this general plan amendment, it also requires funding because we would have to do a couple of things upon approval from the council. Some of the budgeted costs that we may come back, or staff is asking for a budget amendment, it's about $20,000. Some of the tasks would cover LAFCO applications, drafting of a land surveyor documents, and legal advertisement. So as part of the application, staff is also asking for a budget amendment. So in conclusion, staff recommends the council take 5 actions. The first action is to conduct a public hearing. Number 2, determine that the project is consistent with 15164, and an addendum has been prepared. Number 3 is adopt a resolution, CC 2510049, approving the general plan amendment. Number 4, direct the city manager's office to file an application with LAFCO. And 5, authorize a budget amendment to increase the community development department's account by $20,000. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any technical questions of the report before we open up the public hearing?
My question, the $20,000 is coming out of general funds, or is it coming out of a specific?
Mayor, Council, I can answer that. That's coming out of Community Development's budget from our fees for cost recovery, so it's not coming directly out of the general fund. In addition, that one thing I wanted to add to Peter's review of the CEQA, we also want to point out that it's also exempt under 15601B3 as well. So that covers, it's called the catch-all, so we doubled it up.
Thank
So
you.
that's it.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time, we'll open up the public hearing. It is now 7:08. The public hearing is hereby open. Are there any wishing to provide comments or testimony in this matter? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I just had more questions than comments. Well, first of all, Torrance had an ad hoc committee meeting just a few weeks ago on annexing this section here. They decided to postpone it for another year, I guess. And one of the analysis, I think, it was that it would cost them about, I think it was $18 million if they annex this section. They're different than Lawndale. They have their own police force. That means they would hire their own officers for this section. They thought they would have to build their own police station and maybe another fire station. Hawthorne and Gardena, I think, are also interested in this section. So I guess my question would be, how does that impact what other cities might be doing? And what's the goal long-term with this area for Lawndale? One of the things I wanted to comment on is Lawndale ever annexes this. You're going to talk later about SB 79. Lawndale isn't impacted yet because there's only, 31,000. But if they annex this section, that would change it to something like, 38,000. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? Oh, matter of fact, if anyone would like to speak, if you would line up by the flag so we can move it expeditiously. Yes, sir.
Hi there, Andrew Blackney, resident of Lawndale. I just had a quick question about this. I was wondering, so public comment on this is obviously a public hearing, and I was notified of it because I'm a resident of Lawndale, and I periodically look at the what's on the agenda here. How is this message being sent out to the residents of El Camino Village, and how, if it is at all, how are they being notified? Because I feel that obviously their voice on this is very important. So I was wondering, how is that being brought up to them, like, for instance, with us versus, like, Torrance or other areas, saying, hey, we would like to potentially annex you or put you in our sphere of influence. I just wanted to get some more information on how that is taken into account. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Kenji Kaneko. I've been working at Boston Over for about 2 years now. Just recently became general manager. I just wanted to apologize for the leakage we had last week.
Okay, this is a public hearing about this particular item.
Gotcha. Sorry, not this item, but my mistakes.
Okay.
Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. So we took public comments. So let's close the public hearing at 7:12. The public hearing is hereby closed. Let's bring it to the diocese for discussion. Let's hear from Mr. Pat Kearney.
Andrew brought up a question. Do we notify El Camino Village? And
We follow what we do. We will notify it subject to annexation. Right now, this expansion of our sphere, since it's more than 1,000 property owners involved, we post it in the Daily Breeze as required under our code. Getting back, and if I can expand on why Mr. Randall Abrams mentioned something to, I can answer that as well. B, because we are the city with the most efficient delivery of services. Torrance is not, we believe. So we feel because our law enforcement, Lawndale Service Station is right on the border. Also, Station 21 provides services to the area. So LAFCO has reminded me, and also my LAFCO background, we're the best city and agency to provide the local services to that community. So it makes a natural extension. Our sphere is currently in there over the residential. In addition, I've heard from both school districts, Centinela as well as Lawndale Elementary School District. They support the annexation, the sphere expansion, as well as the annexation efforts undertaken by this council. Thank you.
And then one more question. On the map in the agenda package, the little blue lines, is that in addition to what we had before?
That'll be the inclusion to our sphere above that.
Okay.
That's in the yellow. That's in our current
So it'd
sphere.
be, this is El Camino Village, I believe.
That's
El
that's
Camino
the
College.
parks and El Camino.
And this is El Camino Village.
That's correct.
Okay. That's it. Thank you, Robert.
Okay, Brenda Suarez.
Yeah, I think it came up at a prior meeting, but just to ask again, if this were to go forward, the residents of El Camino Village vote on this, right? As well as our citizens?
So if we would have to do it, obviously, there's two different types of annexations, mayor and council, inhabited, uninhabited. This is inhabited, so we will have to do extensive outreach meetings, open houses. We'll have to do one-on-ones with residents, small groups. There's going to be a lot of outreach to this area because it could go to a protest notice. So as the council is aware, if it's 20% or less protests that don't want to be annexed, it would go automatically. If it's 20% to 50%, it would go to a protest hearing. 51% or more, it's dead. It would not go forward a protest. So people have to actually protest against it. So we would be doing extensive outreach to those residents that had concerns about annexing. So yeah, this is just the beginning phase with the sphere expansion.
Okay.
Mr. City Manager, could you explain, I know you said there's like two steps, and the first step is to expand the sphere of influence. When you expand the sphere of influence, does that mean you have to annex it?
No, Mayor and Council, you do not. This just holds it in place. It's our future planning area, defined under the Not-Cortese Act of our future planning of our expansion area into that area, just like we already have defined on the exhibit in your staff reports. We already have it futurely in our sphere now. We do not have to unless staff is directed by the mayor and council.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion at this time.
I would,
All motion to approve staff recommendation.
I'll second it.
So the motion's been made by Cuevas that we approve staff recommendations and seconded by Mr. Pat Kearney. Are there any discussions on the motion? Madam City Clerk, please conduct the vote.
For item H6, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Number 7 on our agenda is the approval of routine records destruction. Madam City Clerk, Assistant City Clerk.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. Yvette Palomo, Assistant City Clerk. This report is to request the City Council's approval of the destruction of routine records from the Administrative Services Department and the City Clerk's Department. Included in the report is a resolution that lists the documents that are proposed to be destroyed. In conclusion, staff is requesting that the City Council approve resolution number 2510-48, which lists all of the records in the exhibit. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Are there any questions of this report? Seeing none, would the entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Pat Kearney,
I'll second that.
seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, would the council please vote? Madam City Clerk.
For item number 7, motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Item 8, PACE program, property assessment, clean energy.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This item is the PACE program. On September 15, 2025, the council received a presentation from Home Run Financing on the PACE program. They gave the council an update of how the program ran. It's a mechanism for property owners to finance energy-efficient upgrades to their home. Payment would be made through property tax assessments on a yearly basis and not monthly in comparison to traditional financing. So once again, the cost of the property is paid through a property tax assessment. So in order to participate in this, 2 resolutions needs to be reviewed and approved by the council. So for the council's consideration are 2 resolutions for the council's consideration whether to participate in PACE. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions of the report? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, you can ask a question. Come on.
Hi, my name is Eddie Garcia, and I'm a resident of Lawndale. I just have a question about the PACE program. Like, what benefits does the homeowners have on this one?
Okay, give us your question. I know
Yes.
you just gave us your question, but we'll answer it after everyone had a chance to speak.
Yes.
Thank you. So what benefit does it? Yes, ma'am. You want?
Excuse me, not having specific personal experience with PACE, I just did a little bit of research, and I just wanted to read what I found. PACE, specifically the Property Assessment Clean Energy Loan Program, developed a notably poor reputation in Los Angeles due to widespread reports of predatory practices and harm to vulnerable homeowners. Numerous advocacy groups and legal aid organizations documented that PACE loans often led to financial distress, especially for elderly and low-income residents, including many in Latino communities. The program was ultimately discontinued by Los Angeles County in 2020 after officials concluded it could not guarantee sufficient consumer protections. Apparently, it's come back. The reputation in Los Angeles, the PACE program became infamous for allegations of fraud, forgery, price gouging, misleading sales tactics, undisclosed costs, and shoddy or incomplete work. Legal and consumer advocates described PACE loans as breeding grounds for consumer fraud and abuse, and thousands of homeowners faced the threat of losing their homes due to unaffordable tax increases linked to these loans. Los Angeles County settled lawsuits with homeowners paying millions in compensation because of the harm caused by PACE loans.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ryan Griffin. I'm the Chief Operating Officer with Home Run Financing and also the Chief Legal Officer. And just wanted to, one, make myself available to any questions that the council may have, and also address some of the comments that have been made. Much of the historical complaints about the PACE program are actually complaints about home improvement contractors that existed with any type of financing, and they were not particular to the PACE program. There's also a component where when the PACE program was first began, the people that devised the program, they wanted to come up with a way to make things like solar energy, energy conservation, these types of home improvements available to a wider group of people, that if it was only the wealthiest of homeowners that could afford solar, it wasn't going to achieve the overall goals of the community of bringing that to more people and lowering the dependence on traditional energy sources. So these initial people that came up with this, they were idealists, they were big idea folks, like this is what we want to do. They didn't really think about the day-to-day of working with home improvement contractors and some of the problems that have come up with that industry. Over the years, a combination of procedures that have been changed by the companies themselves. It's an iterative process. You see a problem, you try to reverse engineer it, figure out how can we prevent this from happening again. as well as changes in legislation and regulations and the assignment of the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation to oversee the industry. Those regulations have made most of these legacy problems almost impossible to occur at this point. When you look at home improvement financing options side by side, there is no other option that has the consumer safeguards in place that the PACE financing does. And included in that is a recorded call with the homeowner at the beginning to make sure that they understand the measures that they're signing up for, how the payment process works, that it is done with their property taxes. Another recorded call at the end where, with PACE, the contractor is not paid until the work is done. And part of that is a signed document by the homeowner, as well as a recorded call with them telling us, yes, this work is done, it's been done to my satisfaction. What would you rate your contractor out of a scale of 0 to 10? Same for us. And then we also now have technological tools to do asset verification to show that whether it was solar panels, whether it was an HVAC unit, whatever it was actually installed. So some of these complaints, it'd almost be like going to a car industry meeting and complaining about all the accidents that are happening without seat belts when we've reached a point where seat belts are required and completely installed and have fixed that problem. So I see the time is ending. I don't want to go past that, but my colleague Gabe and I are here to answer any other questions that the council may have for us.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. No, only one, because then I got to open up for everybody else, if that's the case. We got your question, though, so we'll answer your question. Anyone want to answer?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, so the benefits, as Peter mentioned, the opportunities to upgrade their homes and get financing with that for some folks that have not have the opportunity, their financial well-being. This program's been around. As mentioned, I think we used to have a similar program here under Fig Tree and PACE, but it expired. So we've used the program before historically. And my understanding that the program does help disadvantaged people take advantage of opportunities of upgrading their homes and making more economical, energy-wise, and more efficient.
Okay, Bernadette Suarez.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, I'm the one that brought it forward. From what I understand, a resident was trying to take advantage and couldn't because we didn't have the agreement in place. But it's similar to what, happened maybe in the recession, like in 2007-8, when things crashed and those loans were being made. After that, regulations were put in place to prevent that from happening again. And based off of the last presentation, there were numerous bills that passed laws in order to safeguard against it. And the contractors, and to make sure that when you're signing on the dotted line, you understand what you're signing. And so that's why I brought it forward, to give those homeowners an option, if they so please. But with anything that you sign, always make sure that you're reading everything and understanding. And I understand there's certain populations that are more vulnerable, but it sounds like those laws were put in place. And we saw a list of them that were enacted. So with that, I feel comfortable bringing this forward.
Thank you. Mr. Pat Kearney?
Yeah, I have there's some background on you guys. And this is from Attorney General Bonta with the FTC, announced settlements with Clean Energy Financing Company for misconduct relating to PACE program. It has a list of things in here and who you took advantage of and what to consider before applying for PACE. Most loan may be paid back, loans may increase the risk of foreclosure. Financing may take it harder to sell and refinance your house. Then I have, this was dated on October 28, 2022, which after the fact of 2017. This is another one from FTC, which says that they're sending checks out to eligible homeowners for refunds for forged, part of the PACE program. The contractors forge homeowners' signatures on the agreements with the finance company. There's another one that was dated on, it has a date on here. Oh yeah, it does. July of 2025. That's just recently. And then I have the other one for $12 million settlement reached for Los Angeles Clean Air predatory loans. And this goes into great detail of what happened with PACE and how they took advantage of seniors, mostly seniors, and this is dated 3/26/24. And last but not least, court affirms LA County can be sued for elder abuse and PACE program that swindled a family, and it has the whole plea background and article on it. And this was dated September 22, 2025. So you said everything's taken care of back in 17 when the state passed the laws, but we still have this. So just to be upfront, if we vote on this, my vote's going to be no for this.
I don't normally do this, but you didn't have a chance to speak, so if you want to address some of his.
Yes, thank you for that. So a lot of the issues about the contractors committing fraud there have been dealt with. We have the technological tools, as Ryan mentioned earlier, where we have the asset verification. Another tool we have as well as DocuSign, where we geolocate where it's being signed from. So we have the ability, we have tools to verify the identity of the homeowner that we've put in place as well. Now, to the lawsuits that you've mentioned, point out that the two you mentioned with the FTC and the other $12 million one are with PACE providers, one of which has gone out of business, the other which is no longer part of the California market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had another comment.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and there seems to be some confusion because anytime you deal with a legal matter, those can go on for years. And so there's a whole process in which you're filing a claim and then you're taking it to court. So if comments were made, it's as late as 2002, 2004, it's more than likely commenting about what had happened years and years back. None of these are, dealt with in a matter of months or not. A lot of these take years and years. So if it's 2002, it's probably referring to those. If it's as late as 2005, maybe even follow-up. That's just, based off of what I'm aware of with regards to the legal process. But, and there have been laws enacted, I think as late as 2022, maybe even later on some of them. So those are just my comments.
Cuevas.
Is there a oversight committee that we could put together to oversee that this doesn't happen to our Lawndale residents, or is there something that the city could do?
No. Thank you.
I mean, Mayor, Council, we could look into that and bring this item back to you if that's the will of the council and get back to you on looking up at a committee, but it's totally up to the council and research that and look at how that'll work. If you want a council member on that committee as well, and to look over this will require some staff time and research, but that's totally up to you guys.
With all due respect, I don't think we need an oversight committee. I'm ready to vote on this tonight, but I don't think it rises to that level to where we need a quote-unquote oversight committee.
Yeah, could we get an example of like some of the things that that happen? I understand how it's beneficial to some homeowners to use it on the taxes, but why would some fall in default or in foreclosure? Is it because that they can't pay their property taxes anymore, or how long does the amount extend into to them paying the taxes? Yeah. And is it like just a 30-year limit, or is it a 25-year limit, or is it like what's the amount of time?
Let him speak.
Yes. So
Point of order? He already spoke.
I was trying to address his.
Okay.
Why
don't you address that to the city manager?
Okay.
And see if he can.
City manager?
See if he can take a stab at it.
So my question is, a homeowner that takes advantage of this program, how is it that they typically would fall in foreclosure? Because I know it's on the property taxes. Is it because of the difficulty they have to pay their property taxes and they go into default, or is it, and the amount of the repairs that they're doing or the modifications that they're doing, is that extended over a certain number of years, or is it just till they finish paying it off?
Yeah, so it's amortized, that's kind of what you're asking. The whole program is amortized. It's put on it's a lien on the property till it's all paid off. What the issue kind of confusion is, if people get late on we didn't see anything related to foreclosures for not paying that, because that's subservient. I'm not an attorney, but it's
Yeah.
subservient on the loan. The primary loan gets paid off first and handled through the bank. These secondary things are second. So that there might have been two, but they have to pay them if they get behind, but they don't lose their home for not paying the PACE program off. It just gets put on their tax bill as back due. What happens is during the Great Recession, people were losing their homes, and these issues were coming up, the seconds and thirds, and these improvements for the efficiency programs. That's my understanding what had happened.
Sorry, and I work in real estate, so I am familiar with the program a little more, and I've seen these come through where if a homeowner wants to sell the home, essentially there gets a payoff demand. But all of that should be, from what I understand, disclosed up front, what your payment plan is going to look like. It shows a schedule like any loan, and then that gets paid through. So I think a lot of, again, what we're hearing as far as some of the homeowners experienced were prior to some of this regulation going in. And if not, that's something new that I haven't heard about.
Okay, what is the body? Yeah, he already spoke.
Yeah,
Speaking again? Okay.
Let me give you an example of one of the cases. 2015, plaintiff Alma Foster was quoted that what she was sold to her house was $75 roof repair, but ended up in a $100,000 debt added to her property taxes. However, the county contractor had forged her signature on the assessment contract and included tax liens on her home. This woman lost her home because of this. So you can say what you want, but my vote is no.
Okay. What is the, thank you for that. What is the,
Yeah, and again, that was related to a contractor, which I don't think that's specific to PACE, that's specific to a contractor. There's a lot of shady contractors out there for anything. But I'm going to make the motion that we approve this.
Okay, the motion's been made by Suarez that we approve the PACE program,
I'll second that.
seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Madam City Clerk.
For item number 8, the motion passes with Mayor Pro Tem Kearney voting no.
Thank you. Okay, let's move our agenda to item 9, SB 79, Transit-Oriented Development Bill.
Good evening.
Let's have the staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The item is SB 79, Transit-Oriented Development. So on April 7th, 2025, staff provided a update on SB 79 and asked for council's consideration for a letter to sign in opposition to this bill. This bill was approved by the state legislator, and Governor Newsom has until October 12th to sign it. As of today's date at 5 o'clock, he still hasn't signed it. So this update is to provide, Exhibit A shows maps of how it's gonna apply within a geographical area. So there's 3 maps. The first one shows LA County in general, and then the second one is primarily the South Bay, and then the third is how it affects Lawndale. So based on this legislation, it provides a definition of transit, and based on that transit definition of rail, any project within half a mile or a quarter of a mile has to could be eligible for high-density development. So that's what this bill is about. It would affect any parcels or land within half a mile of a rail station. Staff is available to answer any questions about SB 79.
Okay. Let me ask the public, are there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Yes, sir.
I just want to also, hi, Andrew Blackney, resident of Lawndale. I also wanted to bring it to the council's attention. I'm sorry the map is small. I had to do this in about 2 minutes before I left work. With the Metro's K-line extension. They have until the end of 2026 to approve that. And because the funding is, I believe the funding is already there, it just is pending approval. That would make the area in the blue shade of this eligible, which would incorporate a small area of Lawndale up until, I think it's 172nd Street, between, roughly between Hawthorne and Inglewood. So I just wanted to add that in, that pending Metro's approval of the K-line, of the C-line extension, but the K-line service, that would make this portion SB 79 eligible as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what is the pleasure of this body concerning this item? Are there any discussion on this item?
File.
Receive and file?
Receive and file, Mayor and Council.
Oh, okay. I thought we had to give direction. Okay. Provide. Receive and file, or provide direction. Okay. All right. Let's move our agenda. Let's talk about item number 10, update to illegal fireworks suppression plans for 2025.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and distinguished members of the City Council. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you this evening. The staff report you have before you is an update on the 2025 illegal fireworks suppression plan. As this council is aware, every year for the past 5 years, the city has put together an illegal fireworks suppression plan to eradicate the use of illegal fireworks in the city. The city of Lawndale, like many Southern California cities, do face a large number of illegal fireworks being lit in the city every year. To combat that, the city has granted us funding to pay for additional deputies. This year, the plan consisted of 10 additional deputies on the 3rd and 4th of July. During that time period, deputies cited 33 people for illegal firework uses. Currently, 12 people have appealed their citations. The fireworks were lit in RD 31. Six citations were issued in RD 31, which is the northeast quadrant of the city. 9 citations were issued in the other 3 remaining districts, District 33, 32, and 34. This concludes this report, and if I can answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. Any questions of the report? Let's hear from the, yes, ma'am.
Michael, are these repeat offenders on any of them, or are they just first-timers?
So every year, the city staff provides our deputies with a list of everyone who's received citations before. This was the first year we actually had a $5,000 citation, so one time. But when we were investigating, we did discover there was a new owner. So we pushed it back down to $2,500. So no one who's ever gotten a citation has gotten another one. So it is effective in that respect, that no one is doing it once they get punished for it. But as you're aware, there are a lot of fireworks still. So we get as many deputies as we can each year. 10 seems to be the most we can get. This was supplemented by Sergeant Smith and Lieutenant Osborne as well. But yeah, no one who's gotten a cite has ever gotten another one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from the public.
The city's illegal fireworks suppression plan has remained largely unchanged over the years, with the exception of 1 year when citations were issued by the city manager and some of his staff. While that report was appreciated, it is understandable that such a resource-intensive approach is not really sustainable. This past year showed only slight improvement, yet residents still endured hours of continuous illegal firework activity. Law enforcement has consistently advised that a complete fireworks ban would make enforcement far more effective. Illegal fireworks could no longer be disguised among safe and sane ones. Following his experience on July 4th, the city manager himself recommended a moratorium on all fireworks. Neighboring cities have already taken action. Both Inglewood and Carson banned all fireworks last year. While Inglewood saw little immediate change, Carson reported a 20% reduction in illegal fireworks incidents. Their use of drones for spotting and dispatch proved efficient and caused no issues or complaints about residents. Currently, the main beneficiary of illegal fireworks sales is a vendor who sold more than $163,000 last year. After expenses such as insurance and supplies, one nonprofit netted roughly $36,000, while another nonprofit earned just $14,434. Surely there must be more cost-effective methods to raise funds, and the only one that really benefits are the manufacturers. It's time for Lawndale to adopt a more proactive, effective approach. Banning all fireworks would empower law enforcement, reduce community disruption, and create a safer environment with far less exposure to airborne toxins that endanger children. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This is a receive and file.
Yes,
Ryan.
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's a
All right.
receive and file. This.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And perhaps the sheriff's department can help with this. Particularly, I'm interested in the body cam footage. Does that get provided to staff at all during like the hearings and whatnot as like evidence and whatnot?
The hearings are actually attended by the police, so our deputies go to the hearings and they speak on what they observed. So they can bring that with them if they'd like to. Staff doesn't actually participate in the hearings other than to listen. None of the sites are written by us. The deputies that write the sites actually come into the hearings. So if they chose to bring the footage, they certainly could. I think that would probably benefit them to bring the footage. I don't know if they actually do or not. The hearings have actually just begun, so we're still hearing. We'll be hearing appeals into probably the new year, so we don't have any results of any of the.
But this is new, right? The body cam from last?
Last year was the first year it was initiated,
The
I
first
believe.
year.
And that does slow down the process because every time a contact is made with a violating party, the deputies are required to go back to the South LA station and download that footage and caption it and put information on it that they observed. So then they have to return to the city. So it does take quite a bit of time whenever they interact with someone, that information's got to be downloaded.
Okay, but that body cam footage is not provided to the city? Or is that part of the new protocol or whatnot in terms of like evidence and whatnot?
I don't understand, provided to the city. Why would the city want to?
Well,
see
when
it?
you're issuing so they're the ones that are showing up to the cases?
Yes, the hearings are
specifically.
attended
The city
by-
doesn't show up at all?
Well, we're reporting and we're taking notes for our summaries, but we're not speaking at all.
So then who collects the fee?
Data Ticket is our third-party affiliate.
Okay, and then they send it, so we have no oversight at all into the cases that go on to the hearings?
No, we have complete oversight. We just don't participate in terms of, we're not speaking because we weren't the ones writing the tickets. The deputies will say what they saw. The person who got the ticket will say why they feel they are not guilty, and then the hearing officer will make a determination and we'll just record it. But no city staff speaks, no city staff presents evidence. We weren't the ones writing the citation. There'd be no reason for city staff to speak.
Okay, so then it goes completely, we're just basically observing, and then we get the payment from the third party if it's deemed.
The payment will be made before the hearing begins.
That's right,
payment has
the
to be-
deposit, right?
Right,
Okay.
if the citation is dismissed, the fee will be returned in full to the violating party.
Okay. So then, okay, so, because I understand body cam footage is something new that's fairly recently been, I was just curious about it, and I know we've had extensive discussion regarding some of this evidence and how it's obtained and all of that, so I was just kind of curious, because then you bring in the mix of drones and whatnot, and how that becomes, I'm particularly curious about the evidence as it pertains to like public records and people's privacies and whatnot, so.
I could probably leave that to Lieutenant Osborne to speak on record keeping.
Yes, and so that goes through an extensive process, if I understand, when people request body cam footage, right?
Correct. So the hearings you're speaking of, they're similar to court. So the deputy responds, and then, of course, if he wants to provide the hearing officer with his body cam, he can, because it's a court proceeding. He's using it. But if a citizen requests body cam footage, it has to be done through our discovery unit through a Public Records Request Act. And they have to email our discovery unit, and then the discovery unit will see, it has to meet certain requirements or criteria if we release it or not. Not all body cam footage is released. The department, there's regulations and stipulations on what they release or not release. And if
Okay.
they deem it's available, then they release it to the public.
Okay. Appreciate it. I was just curious how it works, because that's something new.
Yeah, let me follow up on that. Now, can the city have a policy, and I guess it's for our city attorney as well, that would require the body cams be available at the hearing? Because what I'm hearing is that it's optional. So if you are a deputy and you had the body cam on, even if you have it on, it's optional whether or not you want to present it as evidence or the lack of thereof.
Well, the city would have to request it through a public records request.
So the city would have to go through that same process?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
All right, so at this hearing, I'm disputing my citation, right? The deputy will not bring the footage unless the city requires it? Why wouldn't he bring it if he's the one that cited? Isn't it like a court hearing?
I said he can, he doesn't have to. The city's not involved in the hearing at all.
Could we, as a city, require the,
You guys are not involved in the hearing. The citation's issued, like, I give the citation to, say, Ms. Suarez. She contests the citation. We go in front of an officer, say it's Lucho. Lucho's gonna ask Ms. Suarez, why do you feel the citation is not valid? She's gonna state her facts. Then he's gonna say, Officer Osborne, why is the ticket valid? I'm gonna state my facts. Do you have any evidence to present to prove it? Now, that's up to me if I wanna say, I have body cam footage showing. If I don't wanna show that, that just weakens my case. You don't have to, just like in any court proceeding, you don't have to present evidence if you don't want to. I don't know why a deputy wouldn't, but I can't speak for another deputy, I can only speak for me. The city can't require it. Now, if the city wants to request every contact that's made that night, they could make whatever, however, 33 public records requests. And if the department deems they're releasable, they'll release them to you guys.
okay,
The city attorney could make it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
Talavera.
Yeah, so during the hearing, could the person that has a citation request the body cam video?
Not without a public records request.
Okay, but during the process, because maybe they don't know, but let's say I know now, so I'm in a hearing, I'm gonna say, I want you to present the body cam video.
So, yeah, to answer that, Councilmember, if during the hearing, the course of the hearing, the violating party discovered body camera footage existed and he requested it, we could always stay the hearing and postpone it till that was either producible or not. But we could certainly petition and he could do a public request and we could just reschedule the hearing. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We have 15 days to honor the request, to either give the body cam footage or give you a reason why we can't release it.
Or to say that we will give you an answer later, right? You could also do that as well.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get a response.
So just a response is required, not necessarily the body cam footage.
Correct. You'll get a response within 15 days.
Yeah, and the violating party would get the response prior to the next hearing, so they would know ahead of time if they were going to have hearing footage or not. I will remind the council, the body cam footage has only been in practice for the past 2 years. We have had the plan in process for 5 years. So prior to this, the first years of the plan, a deputy sees it, he doesn't necessarily have to show it on camera. If he's stating what he saw, and then it's up to the hearing officer to make a determination whether or not there's footage of it.
And then one more question. So the department has in place the policy regarding body cam footage and who can request it and whatnot through the Public Records Act and whatnot. We as a city, though, don't have a policy, right, for the city obtaining body cam footage.
I'm not aware of a policy that we have for, our request to see it would be the same as any citizen. We would just fill in a public records request if we felt there was something we wanted to see.
Okay.
But it would just be like any citizen.
Okay. Anyone else? So what is the pleasure of this?
I'm good.
I'll make a motion to, I'll second to receive his file.
Receiving somehow?
Yeah, receive and file.
Okay, well, we will receive this and we will file it. Thank you. Thank you for that report. Let's move on to item 11, time capsule opening.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This is a follow-up item from the June 25th meeting, June 2025 meeting regarding the opening of the 2000 time capsule. The capsule was placed behind the wall in the foyer of the City Hall, and during the revitalization of the council chambers, we did go ahead and open up the wall. It took us about 2 hours or more to find the time capsule, but we were able to find it. It is completely.
This capsule.
It's not as, it's probably as big as, this podium here.
It's in here.
As in width, as well as height, but the depth is probably only 2.5 inches. And it's made of very thick, heavy steel metal. So we have not opened it up yet. So we're looking for council's direction on how to proceed and move forward. We do have a couple of items that we do need your direction on. One includes the actual scheduling of a meeting to actually open the time capsule. So we're projecting or asking or recommending that we set aside a special meeting to do that. This would allow us enough time to be able to open the capsule, you to be able to view the items that are inside, talk about them, as well as discuss whatever items that we decide will go back into the time capsule if you decide you would like to go ahead and do that again for the future. And so we looked at the master calendar for council, and we identified a few dates that we're recommending. The first option is Tuesday, December 3rd. That's the first choice. The second choice would be Tuesday, December 2nd. And the third choice would be Tuesday, December 9th. And we are projecting that this would be at the same 6:30 p.m. time slot as our normal council meetings. The next item that we need your direction on is absolutely what items you would like to include. In attachment C of this report, we did put together a list of items that we think might be suitable and will fit into the time capsule. But we are open and would like to get your feedback, your direction on what you would like for us to put back into the capsule. Again, the size and dimension is about 23 inches in height, 20 inches in width, and 2.5 inches in depth. So it's not that big of a typed capsule where you can actually put a suit in it, which was mentioned during the meeting. So that's item number 2. And then lastly, funding for this event. This event was not budgeted for the 2025-2026 budget fiscal year. And so by the writing of this report, we did not have a cost estimate, but we did receive one. And the cost for the plaque to replace the existing plaque is about $3,100. That does not include the taxes or freight. So we're estimating about $3,500 for the plaque. Then in addition to that, the rest of the funding would go towards actually planning the event for refreshments, decor, et cetera. So, and with this request, we would need a budget amendment. So at this time, staff is recommending that City Council, of course, discuss this item, approve a special meeting dedicated to the time capsule reveal, select a date that we're recommending, which is during the first week of December, review and approve the proposed list of items that is included in this report with or without modifications for a future generation to open. We're estimating that will be 25 years from now, as it was the last go around. Review and approve the wording and the purchase of the new plaque, or provide alternative plaque wording, and authorize the Director of Finance, City Treasurer, to appropriate about $6,000 from the general fund for this event, and or provide further direction on how you would like to proceed. And that concludes staff report.
All right, thank you for that staff report. Any discussion on this item? I'm okay with either one of those dates. So let's start with the date first. Which date do we want to entertain?
I would say the first date, which was December 3rd. That's their original recommendation.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Anyone, everyone agree with that date?
Third, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, third, yeah. Third, yeah, okay, okay. Unanimous consent, the third,
And then the budget,
yeah, $6,000.
that one needs a motion, right, for the budget amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
You got a second?
Did you make a motion?
First.
Okay.
You first?
Yeah.
Suarez first.
Yeah.
Made the motion, and Pat Kearney, second the motion.
Are we voting on these separately, or are we
No,
voting?
voting separately. Yeah. Because the other one didn't need.
Many of them
motion.
will only need consent.
Yeah.
But a budget amendment does need a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any discussion on the motion? Madam City Clerk? Pat, you get your,
For the budget portion of item number 11, the motion passes.
okay. Now, what was the other item?
Approve items on attachment C.
The potential list of items to be included in the future capsule, as well as the wording for the plaque. If you look at the exhibit A and B, I believe, the exhibit A is a square plaque, but it has a circle over on the top, which is the city logo. And this was probably one of the more difficult parts of removing the plaque when we had to try and figure out where the time capsule is. So what we're recommending is just a complete square, just to cover up the whole area, but definitely still including the city logo. So it would be similar to what the wording and what we have included in Exhibit B.
I'm okay with the square.
Yeah,
So that,
I am too.
I am too. So we need a motion again on that one?
No, do it unanimous consent.
Consensus?
I have a question. Are we going to mark it this time so you know exactly where the capsule is at?
I'm hoping that with this meeting.
Put an air tag on it.
Yeah, and our documenting of the actual special event, hopefully, we will be able to save the future time and energy when they decide to open it.
Okay.
Sorry, can I make one alteration to it? In the other plaques that I've seen, we usually have the city clerk included. Can we include the city clerk on that? The elected city clerk? The plaque wording.
Mayor and council, we could do that. I've seen that too. If that's the will of the council.
Yeah, it's not a problem. What about unanimous consent?
I'm going
On that, okay, yeah, yeah. Let me see.
And then the last item would be the items to consider for including in the time capsule. We just went through and identified, several items that would, provide a history of what the city has gone through over the last 25 years, to include the COVID, mask and box, as well as a flip cell phone, mouse for computer. I mean, it's just a thought, but. And then anything else that you would like to include as well?
Yes. Go ahead.
Relate, are all these things set in stone? Because I don't know, anybody will know what a COVID mask is in 25 years. I don't know who wants the 40th year celebration 50th year celebration lapel pin, a flash drive, and a mouse with a cord. I like the flip phone. The lapel pins, there's a lot of things. The emergency order from the governor, who cares about that? City phone list, in 25 years, I don't plan on being here. So I don't know why the phone list is on there. So I just want to know, can we talk to you later during the week? And
For sure,
Okay,
for sure.
'cause-
This is just, a
Okay.
a list to consider.
Oh, I see you have from 38 to 49 blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can fill in the blank.
So maybe what we could do is, through the city manager, is go ahead and send you this list, and then you could take a look at it, and you could let us know.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
Diane and I will go ahead and put the items together, as well as this event, so that we'll have a really nice event.
Okay.
Maybe Mayor Pro Tem Kearney can add one of those lollipops. Santa's.
Pardon me?
Maybe you can add one of those
Your
Santa
Santa
sleigh
lollipops.
lollipops.
That you have in your freezer.
I want to put a cryo chamber in there and put me in there. In 25 years, you'll defrost me, and I'll be 98 years old, looking like this still.
You won't fit.
Okay, well, I thought about that. It's on my list. Okay.
Oh, we're making fit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parts. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move our agenda. Let's hear from the city manager. City manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'll be brief. So just want to thank the Mayor and Council for your support on you moving forward with the rehabilitation of of all the facilities that we were updating, including this council chambers. It's a little bright, but it's been all updated, so
Oh,
hope
yeah.
everyone likes it. This is the people's room, so we did they got it done in a fast time. The contractor is starting on the outside and start finishing. They're already starting the spray painting, get the outside all done. I wanted to thank all the staff, for all the hard work they do daily. I'm on the phone with them sometimes 7 days a week, and there's things that happen 7 days a week around here, as the council's well aware, and the community. So I want to thank them for all their due diligence. Sometimes people get frustrated, roads get closed, but it's out of our hands, like that Tesla, and a week or so ago, closed off Manhattan Beach and Marine and Inglewood. So I just want to thank staff for being here on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays and being available, and all of the times. And then I just want to remind everyone that we don't have a firm date yet for the Metro meeting, but I want to remind everyone that, contact the city and let us know if you're interested in getting on the bus. We definitely will let you know as soon as we know from Metro when that meeting is going to happen on the final EIR. We do not know. They have not provided that information, but please contact us and let us know as soon as possible if you're interested in getting on that bus. And I want to clarify, because a resident brought this to my attention. If you're against or for it, doesn't matter. The buses are available for Lawndale residents. So if you're for the project, we want to welcome you aboard. If you're not for it, either way, it's for all Lawndale residents that come on board. So thank you.
Can you update on the chatbot?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Appreciate. Yeah, so based on direction from the council, Beckham and IT worked very hard to get the chatbot on. So please go to the front website. We have a chatbot there. It's live. The more information you feed into the chatbot, the smarter it becomes. And so we're happy to have that up there. You type in R2 standards, it comes up. You type in flat word permits, it brings everything up. It's a work in progress. So please, everyone, engage our chatbot. It gets smarter and as we go along. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Let's hear from the city council staff. Not staff, but council members. Let's hear from Tel Aviv.
Okay, just wanted to let you know, on Thursday, September 25th, I attended the CV Industry Partners Breakfast. Had a good time there, met a lot of people, met with Senator Richardson, had a little conversation with her about the row. So I was glad to be there. Also, I attended the tail end part of Coffee with the Cop. Caught the tail end there. It was really good. And today I had lunch with the seniors. So, and just to finish off, I'd just like to cordially invite everyone, all the residents of Lawndale and our surrounding community friends, to attend the Hispanic Heritage Fiesta that I'm co-sponsoring with South Bay Social Network at Lawndale High School at 10 o'clock in the morning. It starts and ends at 2.
Okay, thank you.
Bring some maracas.
A war drum.
Yes, yes, ma'am, Suarez.
I think the only thing I had was South Bay City's Council of Government Steering Committee meeting. No, actually, it was a Board of Directors meeting. And then a few items that I want to bring forward, which I mentioned earlier, was looking into a audit of our departments just to make sure that the process is, there is a process and that it's, going along fairly and whatnot. And then I had a chance to speak with the business, and they brought up some issues about the sign policy, or newer business. So I want to bring that forward to council to take a look at and get briefed on, because what they told me makes sense. But as a policy, I want to look at it as a whole and see, if there's anything that's restrictive that inhibits their ability to market properly as a business in general, businesses in general. And then I do want to bring back forward my request. I think it was a few weeks ago about making an effort to hire residents if they are qualified. So I do want to bring that back for an agenda item. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Cuevas. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I attended the Neighborhood Watch meeting. I think we had about 20 people there. Thank you, staff, for putting that together. There was some discussion of future drones being used by the Sheriff Department, so that should be a good thing for the city. I did a Zoom meeting with the South Bay COG regarding the senior service working group. There's a lot of benefits that we could use from the COG to assist our seniors, so if staff could review some of those programs that they have for our seniors, that would be great. And on the 27th, I along with a couple of my colleagues, we did the Lupus Family and Friend Walk. We walked 1.4 miles, basically, from City Hall to 145th to Condon to 149th, and back to City Hall. It was a small gathering, and hopefully next year it'll become a little bit bigger. You get to learn about lupus from some of these people that are walking, and I didn't know much about it, but hopefully we could invite them to come back next year, and we could get more of our council members to attend the walk. That will be all.
I have a list. I attended the Independent Cities Association President's Installation Dinner on the 17th in Hermosa Beach. Ray Jackson was installed as the president. He is a city councilman on Hermosa Beach. I did for the elementary school district Million Mill March. I was a spokesperson at Lucille Smith School. I don't know if the mayor made it down to Willie Mitchell. I also attended the breakfast at the Cedar Valley Union High School District 9th Annual Partners Breakfast. I did talk to Senator Richardson for the first time. I attended the State of the City Civic Engagement with this Lawndale High School Performing Arts Center on the 25th. That was a great event. I also walked with Council Member Cuevas and my wife and my daughter and myself, and the mayor walked in the Lupus Friends and Family Walk. It was great. I had enjoyed it. I also had coffee with the cop on the 1st at Sprouts. And for the ones that didn't make it, you missed a fantastic thing. They did a nice spread there. I want to thank staff for being there and the Sheriff's Department for being there. And then more recently, Saturday, I did I took my wife and I went to the Gardenia's Harvest Festival. I chit-chatted with the mayor of Gardena and 2 of the council members. And that was a fun event. I got popcorn. I got popcorn up the ears, out of my pocket, and everywhere. But that's about it. Okay.
You did have a list.
I did.
Okay, I attended, not in any necessary order here, the youth explosion, which was held at the Harold Hoffman Community Center. I also attended the Lupus Walk, as we mentioned, and that was a good time. I also had lunch with the seniors. And, as was mentioned, I attended the Independent Cities President's installation in Hermosa Beach. And that's all I have. Okay. So, if that's been the case, oh, you know what? I got ahead of myself. Okay, well, we got a closed session. I'm going to ask the city attorney to give us the provision of the closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Council will go with the city manager and special counsel into closed session under Government Code Section 54956.9D4, which is consideration of initiating litigation. Special counsel has been procured because I and my firm have a conflict under the legal ethics rules for lawyers in California, and for the benefit of the public, I'll be staying out here while the council discusses with their attorney. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We shall return. Okay, we have returned from closed session. I'm going to ask the city manager to give the report of the closed session.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. No reportable actions to report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Lawndale City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. Monday, October 20th, in these here chambers at 6:30 p.m. We are hereby adjourned.
Make sure we have a clock by then too, okay?
On that day.
Oh, that day?
On that day. My birthday.